Have you ever seen your best friend look at someone you love in a way that doesn't feel right? That look, that gaze, it makes your heart sink because you know deep down that something is wrong. I felt that when I saw Lily look at my husband, James. My best friend, someone I trusted with everything, was after my husband, and I could feel it in my gut. Lily and I had been friends for as long as I could remember. We met in high school, bonded over our love for books and movies, and even shared secrets about our crushes and dreams for the future. She was like a sister to me, always there through good times and bad. When I met my husband, James, she was the first person I told. She was thrilled, or at least that's what I thought. She hugged me, squealing with joy, and couldn't wait to meet him. James and I got married a few years later, and having Lily by my side on that day felt perfect. It was everything I'd ever dreamed of. After we got married, Lily stayed close to our family. She came over often, joined us for dinners, and even helped plan small events. I never thought twice about it. To me, she was family. But then things changed. I started noticing the way she looked at James, and that's when my heart began to ache. One evening, we were all sitting in the living room watching a movie. James was laughing at something on the screen, and I noticed Lily looking at him. It wasn't just a glance, it was a lingering gaze, almost like she was studying him. Her eyes sparkled and a small smile played on her lips. A strange feeling washed over me. It was as if a warning bell had gone off in my head. I brushed it off, telling myself that I was just imagining things. But then, as the night went on, I saw it again. Every time James spoke, Lily's eyes followed him, her attention fully on him, as if I wasn't even there. After that night, I couldn't shake the feeling. I tried to ignore it, to convince myself that I was being silly. But once you notice something like that, it's hard to unsee it. I started watching her more closely, and what I saw only made my suspicions grow. A few days later, Lily invited us over to her apartment for dinner. She said she wanted to thank us for all the times we'd had her over, and I thought it was a nice gesture. When we arrived, I noticed that she had gone all out. She decorated the table, cooked a fancy meal, and even lit candles. I thought it was a bit much for a simple dinner, but I didn't say anything. As we sat down to eat, I noticed Lily was sitting a little closer to James than usual. She laughed at everything he said, even when it wasn't that funny, and her gaze lingered on him every time he looked her way. She kept touching her hair, adjusting her dress, and leaning in closer. James didn't seem to notice anything unusual, but I felt my heart pounding with anger and confusion. Why was she acting this way? This wasn't the Lily I knew. The friend I had trusted my whole life was acting like she wanted my husband's attention, and it hurt deeply. After dinner, James went to the kitchen to grab dessert, and I found myself alone with Lily. I decided it was time to say something. "Lily, is everything okay?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She looked at me, a bit surprised. "Of course, why wouldn't it be?" "It's just, I feel like you've been different around James lately," I said, choosing my words carefully. "It seems like you're a bit interested in him." For a moment, I saw something flicker in her eyes, a brief hesitation, but then she laughed it off. "Oh, don't be silly. James is just fun to be around. We're all friends here, aren't we?" "Yes," I replied, trying to smile, but the doubt lingered in my mind. Something didn't feel right, but I didn't push it further. I wanted to believe her, to believe that everything was fine. Over the next few weeks, I noticed Lily visiting more often. She always had an excuse. Maybe she brought over a new book she thought I'd like, or brought us fresh-baked cookies. But each time she seemed more focused on James. She asked him questions about his work, his hobbies, things I'd never heard her show interest in before. And then, one evening, as we were all chatting, she casually touched James's arm and laughed at something he said. It felt too familiar, too personal. My heart ached, but I didn't want to cause a scene. A few nights later, I noticed Lily and James were texting more often. At first, it was innocent enough, little jokes or reminders about plans. But then, the messages became more frequent. Late at night, I'd see his phone light up with her name on the screen. My heart would sink every time. One night, I decided to check the messages. I knew it was wrong, but I needed to know what was going on. Most of the texts were casual, but one message from Lily stood out. "Hey, I had a great time with you today. We should hang out more." My hands shook as I read the message. Why would she want to hang out with my husband alone? They'd never spent time together without me before. I felt a mix of anger, sadness, and betrayal. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I had to confront the situation. The next morning, I decided to talk to James. My heart was pounding, but I needed answers. "James, can we talk?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Sure, what's up?" he replied, looking at me with a concerned expression. "I've noticed that you and Lily have been texting a lot lately," I began, "and I feel uncomfortable with how close you two are getting." James looked surprised, then thoughtful. "I didn't realize it bothered you," he said. "Lily is your friend, and I thought we were all just having fun together. But if it makes you uncomfortable, I'll stop." "But it's not just that," I continued, feeling tears well up in my eyes. I think she wants more than just friendship with you." James looked shocked. "Really? I had no idea." "Yes," I said softly. "I know it sounds crazy, but I've seen the way she looks at you, and it doesn't feel right." James reached for my hand. "I'm sorry, honey. I had no idea you felt this way. I'll make sure to keep my distance." I decided it was time to confront Lily one last time. I needed to be honest with her and let her know how her actions had affected me. "Lily, we need to talk," I said when she came over for coffee. "Sure, what's going on?" she replied, trying to sound casual. "I feel like you've been crossing boundaries with James," I said, my voice steady but firm. "I've noticed the way you look at him, and it's making me uncomfortable." Lily's face turned pale, and she looked away. I didn't mean to make you feel that way," she whispered. "I guess I just felt drawn to him. But I didn't want to hurt you." "Then please respect our relationship," I said. "You're my best friend, but I can't have you around if you're going to act this way." Lily nodded, tears in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'll give you both space. I never wanted to come between you." After that conversation, Lily and I grew distant. She stopped coming over, and we drifted apart. It hurt to lose her, but I knew it was the right thing to do. I couldn't have someone in my life who didn't respect my marriage. James and I worked on rebuilding our trust. He promised to be more aware of boundaries and to communicate better with me. It wasn't easy, but we became stronger as a couple. This experience taught me that true friends respect boundaries. If someone crosses that line, it's okay to speak up and protect your relationship. Honesty and trust are the foundation of any strong friendship or marriage, and sometimes you have to let go of people who don't honor those values. Have you ever had a friend cross a line with someone you care about? How did you handle it? Share your story in the comments below. Thank you for watching Hannah's Confession. If you found this story meaningful, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to hear more real-life stories. Let's keep learning and growing together.